Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams to all the devotees. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So kindly turn on your videos. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Okay, we will start our today's class. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Shahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Sri Visakamitamsha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bhantu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivastri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. So in the previous class we have discussed how Lord Krishna answered Arjuna's questions. Yeah. So Arjuna was asking in the beginning of the chapter, so what is Brahman? What is the Supreme Brahman? What is the Supreme Person? What is the Self or the Atma? What is karma or productive activities? What is material manifestation? And even he asked also, what are the demigods? Yeah. So he was asking this question, what are the demigods and who is the Lord of sacrifice? And how the Lord resides in everybody's heart. And finally, he asked, how can those who are engaged in devotional service can remember him at the time of death? Yeah. So Krishna gave the answers to all these questions. Yeah. So specifically about remembering him, how one can remember Krishna, especially at the time of death. Yeah. Anta kale chamam eva smaran muktua kale varam. So again and again, Srila Prabhupada explaining about the importance of chanting the holy name. Yes. So through constant chanting of the holy name, Kirtaniya Sadarihi, then it is possible for Ante Narayana Smritihi to remember Krishna at the time of death. So those are the topics that we discussed in our previous class. So now we will continue from text number 10 of chapter 8. Yeah, chapter entitled Attaining the Supreme. So text number 10. One who at the time of death fixes his life air between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga with an undeviating mind engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada explained, one cannot suddenly remember the Supreme Lord at death. One must have practiced some yoga system, especially the system of Bhakti Yoga. Since one's mind at death is very disturbed, one should practice transcendence through yoga during one's life. Yeah. So remembering Krishna at the time of death is not a sudden thing. It's not something that happened by chance, but it needs a lot of practice while living in the body, living in this material body. So we have to engage constantly. We train ourselves, our mind, especially to think about Krishna. Yeah, Savaya Mana Krishna Padara Vindayor. Always thinking about Krishna's lotus feet. Yeah. So otherwise, how we will be remembering Krishna at the time of death, if not from now we train ourselves. Yeah. Like the famous, what is his name? Uh, athlete, the runner athlete, Usain Bolt. Yeah, this Usain Bolt. So before he became famous, actually, he was in a competition, but he kept losing. Yeah. So Olympic happened only once in a 4 years. So the day he had the competition, he lost. Yeah. And then the next day, he trained himself again to run, to prepare for the next 4 years. Yeah. And he became the champion. Yeah. So through practice, there is a saying that practice make it perfect. Yeah. So same thing also, like some kirtaniyas, let's say, for example, some kirtaniyas, they need some practice. Yeah. They need some. So similarly, remembering Krishna also needs some practice. Yeah. If we don't train ourselves from now, remembering Krishna, then it is not at all possible to remember Krishna at the time of death because the mind is so disturbed. Yeah. So this is called this verse is explaining about the Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Yeah. And text 11, person who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. In the Vedic system of knowledge, students from the very beginning are taught to vibrate Om and learn of the ultimate impersonal Brahman by living with a spiritual master in complete celibacy. Throughout the world, there are many institutions for different departments of knowledge, but there is no recognized institution where students can be educated in the brahmachari principles. Unless one practices celibacy, advancement in spiritual life is very difficult. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has announced, according to scriptural injunction, for this age of Kali, that in this age, no other process of realizing the Supreme is possible except the chanting of the holy names of Lord Krishna. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So first of all, this Om is actually Krishna, but in his impersonal feature. Yeah. So this word Om is Krishna, but in his impersonal feature. Yeah. So therefore, the Mayavadis, they are focusing their mind in this sound vibration of Om. Yeah. And finally, they attain the impersonal Brahman. But here, Srila Prabhupada commenting that from the beginning of one's life, yeah, one should practice brahmacharya under the guidance of spiritual master. Yeah, brahmachari gurukule vasandanta guru hita. So vasandanta guru hita, one should serve the spiritual master. So real brahmachari ashram means gurukula. Like Krishna and Balaram, they live in the house of Sandipani Muni and serving their spiritual master. Yeah. It is not that after we finish our study in university and then start joining brahmachari ashram. I mean, like, I'm not criticizing anyone here because most of our devotees having this kind of practice. Even myself, I joined brahmachari ashram after I spoiled my life. So the samskara is so strong, sticking in the mind, right? Therefore, to stay brahmachari is so difficult. But if one gets trained from the very day of their life, Kaumaram, yeah, from childhood, and there is no contact with women, yeah, we are talking about boys here, there's no contact of women, and practicing celibacy, brahmacharya is easy for them. Yeah, even if later on these boys will get married, so he still can be a sense control while being grihastha. So the brahmacharya principle is not applied only for the sannyasis and brahmacharis or vanaprastha, but also should be applied for the grihastha also. Yeah. So grihasthas also should practice brahmacharya. Of course, Srila Prabhupada gave different answers when he was asked about what is the definition of brahmacharya. So in one place, Srila Prabhupada was mentioning that if one gets married and have sexual intercourse only with his wife, this is also called brahmacharya. Yeah. And more to that is that if one just having the sexual intercourse only for the purpose of begetting children, this is also another level of brahmacharya. Yeah, because for men, especially for men, yeah, to keep the semen is actually really good for spiritual advancement. Yeah, so that is the practice. Brahmacharya is essential. Yeah, those who are losing too much semen, so their brain cannot uh, think properly about Krishna. Yeah, the brain tissue is weakened. The brain tissue is weakened. Yeah. Rasamaya Nitai Prabhu, Nimai Prabhu. Sorry.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandasmana Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I have a question on Brahmavati and Mayavati Prabhuji. Can you please explain the difference, Prabhuji, and also what is the destination?
Okay.
What is the expectation and what is the destination where they reach, Prabhuji?
Yeah, I think this topic we already discussed earlier. Yeah, about Mayavadi and Brahmavadi. So basically, both are impersonalists. Yeah, Brahmavadi, Mayavadi, but Mayavadi thinking that he is God. The Mayavadi will think that he is God, and then after quitting this body, he will become God. Yeah. So now he gets this material body, which is illusion. But as soon as he leaves this material body, he will become God. And everything else in this world is actually Maya. Mayavadi, yeah, actually Maya or illusion, including his material body is also illusion. But of course, Srila Prabhupada commenting that how can God be in illusion? That is Mayavadi. And their destination, the destination of Mayavadi is that they will return to the material world. Yeah. But Brahmavadi, the example is like Chatur Kumara. They are the example of Brahmavadi. So they have the sense of understanding that Aham Brahmasmi, I'm not this body, but I'm a spirit soul. But there is a higher Brahman. There is Para Brahman. Yeah. But they don't really have clear idea that actually there is Bhagavan aspect higher than this Brahman conception. So Brahmavadi means a person who knows that he is not the body. He doesn't think that he is the God. He doesn't think that he is God, but he knows that there must be some higher being, but he's in the form of light only. So this destination of the Brahmavadi is the Brahmajyoti. But the Mayavadi will come back to the material world for sure. But of course, Brahmavadi also will come back to the material world because there is no activities in the Brahmajyoti. So how long one can remain without action? Because the very nature of the soul is to be active. Yeah, but Brahmavadi knows that actually he is not God. There must be a higher being, but they don't have clear concept of Bhagavan, feature of the Lord. Yeah. Therefore, Tasya Ravinda Nayana Shapada Ravinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu. So as soon as the Chaturkumara smells the tulasi leaves offered at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, so they get some transformation and they develop the desire to go to Vaikuntha. And all these pastimes happening, between the Chatur Kumara and Jaya and Vijaya, how they got cursed, you know. So that's the difference actually. But destination wise, of course, they will, if they don't, if the Brahmawadi don't develop higher sense of understanding in their realization, they will return to the material world again. But Mayavadi conception is that they are thinking that they themselves God, and this body is illusion. After they quit this body, they will become God, attaining their original position. But Brahmavadi, they don't think that they are God. There is some higher being, but they don't have the understanding of Bhagavan aspect of the Lord. Okay, so that's the difference.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Sudamayi Madhavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Prabhuji, those who say Brahma eva Satyam, are they all Mayavadis?
They are impersonalists. Yeah. So they could be Brahmavadi also, because they know that actually, as I mentioned, yeah, they know that actually they are not the body, they are Brahman. Yeah. But the definition of Mayavadi is that the main word here, Maya. So they are thinking that everything is illusion, including this material body. That's the thing. Yeah. But they have the conception that I am God. I am God, you are God, this tree is God, this dog is this God, this dog is God, this cat is God, like this. So everybody is God. This is Mayavadi. But Brahmavadi, no. Everybody is Atma and there is Para Brahma. But they don't have the realization of Bhagavan aspect of the Lord. That's the difference. Yeah.
Because Prabhu, like on Mahashivratri day recently, I met some people, so they did all Abhishekam to Shivling and Oma to Shivling, and finally they were telling Brahmaiva Satyam. That time I got a doubt whether they were impersonalists or what, Mayavadis.
Yeah, even the impersonalists, they worship these 5 features. I think I told in the previous class.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So including Mahadev, including Shiva. So yes, they can say whatever they want.
And
Yeah.
one more thing, Prabhuji,
Yes.
how to differentiate between Shaivites and Brahmavadis?
Shaivite, basically, they are worshipping Shiva, considering Lord Shiva to be the supreme.
Yes.
Yeah. And Brahmavadi considering that the impersonal Brahman to be the supreme. Yeah. So, but nowadays, actually, there is no real Shaivite. I mean, like those who are worshipping Shiva, they also worship some other demigods also. You know, like they are mixed in their understanding. I would say nobody is fixed in their worship to Mahadev. Yeah. But
So, Prabhu,
yeah, tell me.
the followers of, there'll be followers of Shankaracharya, is it? Brahmavadi? Okay.
Yes, actually, Sankaracharya is Lord Shiva himself, right?
Yes.
But yeah, and he's a great impersonalist just to divert the people to follow the Vedas again. That is his main intention of appearance, to bring back people to follow the Vedic teaching. Yeah. But yes, they are also impersonalists and they are Brahmavadis. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, Archit Agrawal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, but just one question. But
Mm.
aim of both of them, Brahmavadis and Mayavadis, is to merge in the that supreme feature.
Mm.
That is correct, no?
That is correct. Yes.
That is what confirmed. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So the Brahmavadi also wanted to merge into the impersonal Brahman, but actually nobody can merge into the impersonal Brahman. Nobody, because the soul will always keep their identity, their individuality. Prabhupada gave the example like when we see there is a green bird entered into a green tree. What do we see with our eyes? We see that this bird is merging into the tree. But is that the reality? No. This bird remains separate entity with the green tree. But from far away, we see that, yes, this bird now becoming a tree. Yeah, becoming one with the tree. But after some time, this bird will fly away from from the tree. So that's happened to the impersonals. Yeah, they want to merge with Brahman. Yes, for sometimes they may merge with Brahman, with the Brahma Jyoti, but they have to come down again. Yeah, unless one is being perfected in their spiritual position, meaning that understanding the Bhagavan feature of the Lord, then there is no question of entering the palace of God. Okay, let's say like this. Spiritual, because Brahma Jyoti is spiritual world also, part of spiritual world, but it's just on the edge of the spiritual world. It's not yet entering the place where Krishna resides in Vaikuntha or even in Goloka Vrindavan. Just like this, Okay, in India, we have the palace of our prime minister. Yeah. So, for example, I come as a tourist to India. I got my visa, I got my plane ticket. I came to India. But yes, I reach India, but I don't see where is this Narendra Modi. I don't see him. I don't meet him. So I just roaming around on the edge of India. That's the example of Mayavadi. They enter the kingdom of God, but they don't see God. Yeah. So like that. Yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes. Go ahead.
I have a question, Prabhuji.
Mm.
Prabhuji, we are learning different types of yoga.
Mm.
Then we are learning about the material platform and the spiritual platform.
Mm.
And we also then understand that after undergoing all these processes of different types of yoga and meditation, then we understand Bhakti yoga is ultimate.
Mm.
But it is also said in Bhagavad Gita to do Bhakti yoga, if we are in the material plane, then we cannot able to attain Bhakti yoga.
Mm.
So to get that deepening in the Bhakti yoga, we have to give up the material aspect, or can we still be in the material platform and then try to attain Bhakti yoga? We will be successful.
Mm.
My question, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, very good questions. Yeah, I really appreciate that questions. Well, the process of Bhakti Yoga is a gradual process, as Srila Prabhupada explained. It is not an overnight achievement. Yeah, it is not an overnight achievement. Therefore, we are learning the yoga ladder, yeah, in the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna explaining different types of yoga. Yeah, of course, he started with Karma Kanda and then raised to the platform of Karma Yoga and then Jnana Yoga. Then the question is that, of course, to attain pure bhakti, we have to give up all the material aspiration, all material desires. But can we attain bhakti yoga while having material desire? Yes, why not? This is the process. Yeah, Dhruva Maharaj is a great example of Sakama Bhakta. He has great material desire, but at the same time, he worships Krishna. This is called Karma Mishra Bhakti. That's okay. But ultimately, one will become purified by the due course of times while practicing this Karma Mishra Bhakti over and over again. Yeah, one will realize that what actually I want from Krishna, all these material desires are worthless. So yes, so we can, but of course, having material desires, performing bhakti yoga, we will go in a slower speed of spiritual advancement. But there is no loss. Yeah, neha vikramana susti pratyavayona vidyate. Swalpam apyasadamasa. Just little advancement, there is no loss. Yes, so yes, why not? Everybody is on the different level of realization, I would say. Yeah, different level of spiritual advancement. Yeah, but of course, we clearly understand that in order to become pure devotee situated in the topmost level of bhakti practice, so we must give up all material desire. But however, if you still have material desire, still you must perform bhakti yoga. Yeah. So like that, if you have material desire, just ask from Krishna. Don't ask any other personalities, demigods. Yeah. Therefore, the
Hare
Bhagavatam
Krishna.
said, Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udaradihi. Tivreda bhakti yogena yajetam purusham param. Udaradihi means one who has broader intelligence. So whether one wants material desire, he has a lot of material desire, no material desire, or desire for liberation. So he has Tivreda bhakti. He has to worship the Supreme Lord with full force. Yeah, full determination. This is called Tivreda bhakti. Yeah, so just worship Krishna. And by the Srila Prabhupada mentioned in one place that by the performance of materially motivated bhakti, one day one becomes pure devotee. Yeah, one day, but we don't know when is that one day. But for sure, we get always purification, especially through the chanting of the holy names, remembering Krishna. Yeah, so we can. Why not?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I have one more question, Prabhuji.
Yes, go ahead.
As we know all these, we learn all these. We try to practice in our daily life. That
Yes.
is, it is said, we also learned that we can divide our 24 into 8 plus 8 plus 8. So by doing this, sometimes we we be in the mode of goodness, we be in mode of ignorance, we be in the mode of passion. So we tell that when we are at home, we practice bhakti yoga in the morning, and then we have to go to work like that. And then when we come back, we have to try and get back to the mode of goodness. But we are so unfortunate in this material world. We get lost in so many activities that we don't perform our daily sadhana properly. So sometimes we feel guilty that we have not done today's sadhana, and then we get disheartened and go to thing. But again, the next day also we fall a prey to this material desires. So how then one should think and practice these things to get to bhakti yoga? We are always falling back, falling back, falling back. So how to get a strong base so that we can go ahead in practicing to bhakti yoga and ultimately reach the goodness platform, Prabhuji.
Yes, move to Mayapur.
Hari bol.
That's my advice. My point is that live in the devotees community. Yeah. Because the city where you are staying now is not like Dwaraka city. Yeah. Our cities are different. Yeah. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada mentioned make Vrindavan villages. Meaning that we live in the villages where actually the community devotees are available. Yeah, otherwise we keep facing the same problem. You must go for work, yeah, early in the morning, like this, the cycle keep rotating. We feel guilty, in which actually very good. At least you feel guilty. And then next year again we fall into the same hole, into the same pitch. Well, unless you just be fixed in your determination. Okay, it's time for me now, to live in the devotees community where actually we can sustain our life, our family needs without going out somewhere for work with the Karmi people. Yeah. So otherwise, we are not so strong, in our sadhana and then in our mind. Then we will keep falling in the same pitch again and again. Therefore, this Vaishnava community is actually very important project. Yeah, but very less people putting interest into it. Very less people. Okay, like we had some community in, of course, here in Mayapur, okay, in Vrindavan, everywhere, devotees are everywhere. And like in Hungary, the project of His Holiness Shivaram Maharaj, they have also Vaishnava village. We have in Indonesia, Gita Nagari village, Gita Nagari Baru village, where all the members of the villagers are devotees. Now we have more than 40 families living in the same village, only devotees. Yeah. So it's nice to practice our sadhana within Vaishnava community. But we are forced now, of course, like with so many agendas in our life, family needs, then we have to work in some corporate world, in this modern city life. Then, it's not so convenient, not so ideal place to practice. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada mentioned, city is actually preaching base and village is the living base. Yes, we go to the city only for preaching. But if you want to live your life, you better move to the village. Yeah, it doesn't mean that I'm suggesting everybody to become poor, because many of the, even including the devotees also, thinking that living in the villages means living poor life. No, that is not the fact, actually. Yeah. Prabhupada mentioned that this modern city civilization is a doomed civilization. Yeah. Everybody is living in the pigeonhole, Srila Prabhupada mentioned. Like, we don't have a garden, for growing some vegetables in the city, like our own vegetables. We just live in some apartments, and all these apartments just, like pigeonholes, Prabhupada mentioned. Yeah, not to offend anybody here. No, I don't have that intention. But I'm just, since you are asking this question, so that's the fact. You live in such a place by which actually you are forced to live like that. Perform little sadhana in the morning and then go for work for how many hours, maybe minimum 8 hours, then come back, your body, your brain becomes tired, and so many distractions, of course. Yes. Even sometimes people planning, okay, now I'm young, let me work hard. When I reach 50 or 60, I will retire and I will go to Mayapur or Vrindavan to spend my life there. But most of the time, it doesn't happen like that. Yeah, most of the time, it doesn't happen like that. So unless you just think, okay, give up, just give up. Give up, just give up. For example, okay, I'm giving my own life example. Yeah, I was working in a private bank. Yeah. So at the same time also I study in university. Yeah. At that time I actually did not finish my study in university. I didn't get my degree. So I took the economic banking study in university. So I want to become rich. Yeah, and my family naturally they want me to become rich, and they also will become rich, of course. So I at the same time I work in a bank, and also I studied university. I got to meet devotees only once a week during Sunday program. That's all. And I mean, like materially speaking, at that time, okay, I had some money, yeah, to buy whatever I want. I'm working, but then I'm tired of this kind of life. So at one point, somehow or other, Krishna sent one devotee, very senior brahmachari. He told me, what you want to achieve in this life? You know, you are so young and you are already working so hard. Why you are so worried about your future? He told me like this. And I decided, okay, enough is enough. And then I just left everything. My mother was screaming at me. She was so angry, She was so angry to me. But I said, okay, anyway, I have enough of this kind of life. So I just left home. I joined the brahmachari ashram, and I was thinking in the beginning, okay, let me stay just for a month in the ashram. I want to experience, ashram life. So I felt like day by day, I felt nicer and nicer. And then after 5 months staying in brahmachari ashram, so I was sent to Cambodia, outside of the country, and my mother becomes mad again, more mad than before. And finally, life just go on like this. I was thinking like, okay, this life is so nice, I shall never get married. Why should get married? But finally, somehow or other, I got married. And then my parents keep calling me, please come back, come back, come back. We built you a house here. We bought you a car. Actually, 2 weeks after I left home joining Brahmachari Ashram, my father bought a car. And then he called me back. He called me, he asked me, please return home. We'll give you this car. I said, no, I don't need a car. So that's the story. And then we moved to Mayapur, with my wife, and life just go on like this. It's so nice. I mean, like, I'm not trying to say that, oh, I'm a great devotee depending on Krishna, but somehow Krishna will take care of us. Why need to worry about our maintenance, our family maintenance? If Krishna can take care of a dog in the street, then why he will not take care of his devotees? Yeah, yoga ksema mahamyam ananya chintayantam yejana paripasate. Yeah, if I, a person who try to be a devotee, still Krishna is taking care of me. And what about all of you here who are practicing very nicely? Why not Krishna will take care of you? Of course, Krishna will take care of you. Krishna will take care of the whole world. Yeah, the whole world is taken care by Krishna. And what is the big deal of Krishna taking care of one little family? Yeah, it's just a matter of, okay, the moment you have realized enough is enough, then move to some place where devotees are available. And that's all. Otherwise, I may stay in my country, in Indonesia, and work with all these karmi people, And yeah, I mean, like, I'm not rich, but somehow or other, Krishna keep providing all the needs of my family. And one thing that Chanakya mentioned, that there are two things that makes one suffer. There are two things makes one suffer. One, when a person has bad digestion system, he will suffer a lot. Doesn't matter what he eats, whatever nice food you prepare for him, he will not enjoy his life. Digestion problem. Second, one who doesn't have debt. The moment you borrow money, your life becomes complicated. Debt. Yeah. You are borrowing money. Your life will be always in anxiety because the circle of this debt is keep moving, Now you borrow, let's say, for example, like 1 lakh rupee. Of course, that 1 lakh rupee will have some interest. I'm a banker before. It will have some interest, And then some. See, the fact is that, okay, Abhiram Prabhu, you are a farmer, okay? So the fact is that there is, in India, one time I was reading one article, there are so many farmers committing suicide. Why? Because of debt. Okay, that because they are purchasing all these chemicals, fertilizer, yeah, and then using GMO seeds. So they want modernize the whole system. hiring tractor, this and that, so they take a loan, big loan, and then when the crops fail, then they just commit suicide. This has happened. So that is very dangerous. I always tell my wife, if you want to buy something, see whether we have money or not. If you want to buy something, see whether it is really necessary or not. If you want to buy something, we have money and it's okay to buy that, so go ahead. If you don't have money, then better to wait. Don't borrow money to buy what you want. Otherwise, you will be in complicated situation. These two things, digestion problem and being indebted with loan. You shall never be happy. And most of the people in the city having loan. I don't have a house. Okay, I want to buy a house. Take loan from the bank with the expectation that every month you will pay some amount of money. And that will complicate your life. Hare Krishna. Arshit Prabhu?
Hey Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, the question was a little different, but then we have come along.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Uh, so this is a personal thing, Prabhuji. So what happens is sometimes there are very, very small things, and I feel personally that why to disturb Krishna? But
Small thing, for example.
for example, if there is some bank work and that is not happening, and it does not have very much of financial challenge. It is just small thing, closing an account, it's not happening because of some reasons, and we pray to Krishna. So there is a duality in my mind, that mind says, for this small thing, why I'm bothering Krishna? And the other part says that we should bother Krishna, uh, by this way you remember him. But that comes into karam kand, to fruitive activities. So out of these dualities, what should we follow?
Okay.
I suppose many of the devotees would have the same situation.
Yes, don't worry, you are not the only one. That is not karma kanda. Yeah, please understand, karma kanda means demigod worships. When you are asking Krishna for something, you pray to Krishna to solve some whatever little problem, tiny problem you have in life. That is not karma kanda. Yeah. That is not karma kanda. It's karma yoga. Yeah, because you are linking yourself to Krishna. That is not karma kanda. That's first thing that we have to understand. Karma kanda is clear. Yeah. Karma kanda means demigod worship. That's all. Yeah. But this is called karma mishra bhakti or karma yoga. You are praying to Krishna. Prabhupada said that's natural. Just like a son who is completely depending on his father. Yeah. If a son get into trouble, then go to father, go to mother, go to the parents for protection. Yeah. For solution. That is natural. Yes. Like Draupadi, she's a great devotee. She got into trouble. She's not praying to the demigods, but she just prayed to Govinda, to Krishna. Yeah. So it is natural. And who else can save us other than Krishna? So just pray to Krishna. That's okay. Therefore, like in ISKCON, one time Pankajangli Prabhu, in place Pankajangli Prabhu, was asked like, Prabhuji, why do we need to worship Lord Nrsimhadev separately? We already have Radha Madhava here. Krishna is not different from Nrsimhadev. Yes? Yes. Why do we need to worship Lord Nrsimhadev separately? And Pankajangli Prabhu said that, oh, if you have some trouble, you should not ask to Krishna. Because Radha and Krishna and these Astasakis, they are busy in their Rasa Lila. They are busy. Don't disturb their Lila. So if you have some trouble, you worship Lord Nrsimhadev. You have back pain, little headache, you worship Lord Nrsimhadev. And you ask him, because he is in the mood of Sarva Vigna Vinasaya, to remove all the obstacles in one's life. Because any problem in your life will affect your devotional service also, right? Krishna mentioned, how can one become happy without being peace? So you have some bank work, yeah, this and that account work, and you are disturbed, that means you are not in peace. If you are not in peace, then your sadhana also, your chanting will become affected. So yes, pray to Krishna, pray to Nrsimhadev. Yeah, ask for solution. Why not? And that is not karma kanda. That is still bhakti yoga, but in a mixed form. Yeah, but there is nothing wrong with that. It's a natural thing. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for answering. Prabhuji, but sometimes while worshipping Narsingadev, I feel like that we are using Narsingadev for our own selfish desires.
Mm.
So our heart stays with Krishna,
Mm.
but then we worship Narsingadev for some activities.
Mm.
So it's kind of being so guilt and a selfish feeling.
Yeah, that is true. So you have come to the higher realization. Then you are a pure devotee. You just chant Hare Krishna just to please Krishna. But you should be honest. Everybody should be honest with his position. Unless you are like Srila Haridas Thakur, just chanting Hare Krishna. If nobody gives him little food for 3 days, he will fast and chant Hare Krishna. Can anybody do that? Maybe, but not for me. So I'm honest with my own position. Just like Sukadev Goswami mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that I'm explaining this Bhagavatam, he said. I'm explaining this Bhagavatam to you as much as my realization allow. Just like a bird knows how far, how high he can fly. That means he was honest. I'm giving this as much as my knowledge and my realization allow me. Just like you know how far you can swim in the ocean. So just be honest. That's the thing, you know. If you are into trouble, then, because you have family, right? Then you just don't want to ask Krishna for help. Krishna is there to help. Yeah, Krishna is there to help. Why not asking him to help? But if you are already on the level of Srila Haridas Thakur then, or Sudama Vipra, then no need to ask Krishna. Yeah, no need to ask Krishna. Yes, but that feeling of guilty is also a good feeling. Oh, I should not disturb Krishna. But at the same time, I have this problem in which actually I need to resolve. Then while being in trouble, will you able to perform devotional service nicely? No. So better to ask Krishna, Krishna, solve this problem. Then after the problem solved, you will perform devotional service nicely. There's no harm. Ultimately, it goes to Krishna. Bhupalaka Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. For all this, I also read one thing Prabhupada says, either we are all trying to become goldsmith or blacksmith. The goldsmith actually takes the theory of tick, 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 tick slowly to make
Yes.
everything. But the blacksmith actually gives one bang and finish it. So when you said about your life history, I thought you took up the blacksmith theory. So we are all falling in the goldsmith way and wasting our life, Prabhuji. So how actually we should? I think that the answer also you are given. That only thing we move to Mayapur. That's what you said. So that is practically not possible, Prabhuji. So how we live in our place and live like Mayapur, that is what we try to understand. We have to try to know, Prabhuji. Is that possible, Hare Krishna?
I think I did a mistake when I said move to Mayapur. Yeah. Of course, like you can create Vrindavan in your house, you can create Mayapur in your house. Yeah. We heard so many times that wherever Gornita is being worshipped, that is Mayapur. Yeah, even devotees here in Mayapur also have some problem. Don't think that they don't have problems. It's just a matter of one's consciousness, actually. Yeah, it's just a matter of one's consciousness. You see, like Jayananda Prabhu, he was taxi driver, how he deals with people, but his consciousness remained fixed. Yeah, remained fixed. Brahmananda Prabhu, he was a teacher in one of the universities. Prabhupada, when Brahmananda Prabhu asking Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, should I quit my job and move in to ashram? Prabhupada said, no, you keep do your working. So it's just a matter of consciousness also. But for most of us, yeah, environment will affect one's consciousness. That's the thing. Yeah. If one can become like the fixed devotee, like what is that verse? Yatha dipo nivatastu lingati sopama priyaha. Krishna explained in the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, just like fire in a windless situation. So he will remain fixed, the fire remain fixed. Yeah. So that is one's fixed consciousness. But if one's consciousness is not fixed, then will be waving here and there. So you can be also being physically in Mayapur, but at the same time, you cannot attain peace because your consciousness is not fixed. But for me personally, environment will affect my consciousness. That's the thing. Yeah. So regarding possible, not possible, well, one time Srila Prabhupada mentioned that impossible, the word impossible exists only in the Fool's Dictionary. Yeah, so it is possible, why not possible? Yeah, but of course, it needs sometimes. It's not an overnight achievement, an overnight transformation. Yeah, if you can make it, that would be nice. Yeah, some devotees in Indonesia, they are in one of the community in Indonesia. Some devotees think that, oh, we stay very far from the temple. We would like to buy land around the temple and then move in, and then we can follow all the temple programs every day. And finally, Krishna give them money, and then they bought some piece of land, make nice house there, and they never come for Mangalarati. I have observed this personally. So it's just a matter of consciousness. Yeah. And not everybody in Mayapur is going for Mangalarati. Yes, that's a fact. Okay. Anyway, let's have more discussion into this a little later because we have to move. Yeah. Next 12. The yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head. Once establishes himself in yoga. To practice yoga, as suggested here, one first has to close the door of the sense enjoyment. This practice is called pratyahara, or withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. In the 6th chapter, this process is described in detail, but as mentioned before, this practice is not practical in this age. The best process is Krishna consciousness. If one is always able to fix his mind on Krishna in devotional service, it is very easy for him to remain in an undisturbed transcendental trance or in samadhi. Text 13. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. It is clearly stated here that Om, Brahman, or Krishna are not different. The impersonal sound of Krishna is Om, but the sound Hare Krishna contains Om. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is clearly recommended for this age. So, if one quits his body at the end of life chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, he certainly reaches one of the spiritual planets according to the mode of his practice. The devotees of Krishna enter the Krishna planet, Goloka Vrindavan, for the personalists. There are also innumerable planets known as Vaikuntha planets in spiritual sky, whereas the impersonalists remain in the Brahma Jyotir. But those who are not personalists, they cannot enter into the spiritual planet. They remain outside, just like the sun sign and the sun disk. Sun sign is not different from the sun sign. Here, the sun disk, but still, the sun sign is not the sun disk. Similarly, those who are transferred into spiritual world, they remain in the effulgence of the Supreme Lord, which is called Brahma Jyoti. Yeah. So basically, attaining the Supreme through the Yoga Mishra Bhakti. This section of our discussion is about Yoga Mishra Bhakti. How can one attain Lord Krishna through practice of yoga? But of course, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned, that this process of Astanga Yoga is already detailed, being described by Krishna in the 6th chapter. And Arjuna mentioned that, oh, Vayori Vasuduskaram. It is better for me, it's easier for me to control the wind than to control the mind, because pratyahara is very important in this stage. Yeah, pratyahara means withdrawing one's senses from sense object. Then Suchao, they say, sit in a sacred place, ekaki, being alone. It is not at all possible. Yeah. So this process is being rejected by Arjuna 5,000 years ago. Then what is our hope now? Arjuna is a great yogi. He can go to heaven using his own body. Yeah. So attaining the Supreme through the practice of yoga. Yeah. So Krishna mentioned here also about chanting the Om, yeah, while quitting the body. And Srila Prabhupada, of course, mentioned here that if one chants Hare Krishna, so this Om is already included. How? Those who are having the Bhagavan aspect of realization, so the Paramatma and the Brahman realization is already there, included. Yeah. If you have 1 lakh rupee, 10,000 is already included. That's the example. Yeah. If you chant Hare Krishna, this word Om, which is actually the supreme letter, it is described. This Om is the combination of A, U, Aum. Yeah. So that is the feature of Lord Krishna in his impersonal aspect. Yeah. So Prabhupada also explained the distinction between the personalist and the impersonalist. Yeah. Even for the devotees, the personalist, there are innumerable planets where one can go, depending on one's mode of worship. Yeah. And the Sri Sampradaya, basically, they will go to Vaikuntha because they are worshipping Lord Narayan. Yeah. And for us, where we are going, our destination and hope is going to Goloka Vrindavan. Yeah. So one time Srila Prabhupada was asked, so where is the planet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in spiritual world? And Prabhupada said, Goloka Vrindavan. Yeah. The worshipper of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will go to Goloka Vrindavan. Because Sri Chaitanya, Radha Krishna nahi anya. Yeah, he is not different from Radha and Krishna. Yeah, so the destination is Goloka Vrindavan. Yes. Okay, up to this point, before we move to the next section of this chapter, were there any questions? Okay, very good. Now, let's here. Yes. The next section of this chapter is that from text 14 to 16, describe about pure devotional service. Yeah. The previous one, yeah, from text 10 to 13, describing about Yoga Mishra Bhakti. But now here we'll be discussing about pure Bhakti. Yeah, there is no Mishra, there is no mixing here. And then 17 to 22, comparing the material and spiritual worlds. 23 to 28, the supremacy of devotion in attaining the supreme. Okay, this is pure devotional service. Anybody would like to read this sloka? It's a very famous sloka from the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Sudamayi Mataji, please go ahead.
Ananya cheta satatam yomam smarati nityasha tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Partha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. The special qualification of pure devotee is that he is always thinking of Krishna without deviation and without considering the time or place. There should be no impediments. He should be able to carry out his service anywhere and at any time. Some say the devotee should remain in holy places like Vrindavan or some holy town where the Lord lived. But a pure devotee can live anywhere and create the atmosphere of Vrindavan by his devotional service. A pure devotee cannot forget the Supreme Lord for a moment, and similarly, the Supreme Lord cannot forget his pure devotee for a moment. This is the great blessings of Krishna consciousness practice process of chanting the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you. Okay. So Ananya Chetata. Ananya Chetasa. Okay. So I highlighted that part. Yeah. Ananya Cheta. Satata. Satata means constantly. Yeah. Ananya Cheta means pure. Ananya Bhakti means pure devotion. Ananya Cheta Satata means without any deviation. Yeah. And then what Krishna mentioned here, Tasyaham Sulabhaha. Sulabha means easy. So for those who are constantly Mam Smarati Nityasaha, meaning thinking of Krishna constantly without any deviation, Tasyaham Sulabha Partha, O Partha, I will become easily obtained. So very easy to obtain Krishna, is it? There is only one condition, just always think about him. Yeah. And what happened here? When one think constantly about Krishna, Krishna will also think constantly about us. Sadavo hridaya mahyam sadunam hridayam tuaham mad anyante najanati naham debyo managati. So when this is the pastime in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Ambarish Maharaj was, he Durvasa Muni wanted to kill Ambarish Maharaj, and finally Lord Krishna released his Sudarshan, to protect Ambarish and chase now Durvasa Muni. And now Durvasa Muni came to Lord Vishnu finally, asking for shelter. And he said, no, I cannot give you shelter unless you apologize at the lotus feet of Ambarish Maharaj. Then Sudarshan will stop chasing. So from this incident, so Lord Vishnu said that Sadavo Hridaya Mahyam, the devotees will always in my heart. Sadawo hridayam mahyam, sadhunam hridayam tuaham. And I'm always in the heart of the devotees. Naham tevyo managapi. The devotees doesn't know anything apart from me, and I don't know anything apart from that devotee. So that means if we constantly think about Krishna, then Krishna will constantly think about us. Yeah. Even the spiritual master also like that. The spiritual master. There was one incident that getting the land in Mayapur, So Srila Prabhupada was asking Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Bali Mardan Prabhu, to come to Mayapur to negotiate with the landowner. And then finally they came to an agreement. Yeah, they came to an agreement to bought this piece of land in Mayapur, where ISKCON Mayapur now located. At that time, the price was 14,000 rupees. Yeah, 14,000 rupees. That time, 14,000 rupees, maybe like, I don't know, 14 crores, maybe. No, maybe something like that, a lot of money. Yeah, it's a lot of money. And then Prabhupada was in Calcutta. Yeah, so he asked Tamakrishna Maharaj and Bali Mardan Prabhu to bring this money, yeah, to pay the amount and then get the certificate. And then Prabhupada was in so much anxiety. He even told Tamakrishna Maharaj, this is how you hide your money, put inside the cloth and one layer after another layer, and you have to keep it like this because they will go by local train. And there are so many thieves, And then Tamakrishna Maharaj said, yes, Prabhupada. And then there is no phone at that time, okay? No phone, no WhatsApp, nothing, no Facebook, nothing, So both of them went to Mayapur. Prabhupada was in Calcutta. And then 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, no news. Oh, Srila Prabhupada now in a big anxiety. Srila Prabhupada in a big anxiety. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't eat also. Yeah. So on the 7th day, everybody was sleeping, peacefully sleeping. It is described in the Prabhupada Nilamrita that Prabhupada could hear all the loud snoring of the brahmacharis who are sleeping in the veranda. So Prabhupada could not sleep. His door remained open already in the middle of night. So 10 o'clock at night, there was dog barking. Prabhupada went to the balcony to see, to the street. He was thinking that, oh, this must be Tamal. And then he went out. No, it's just a beggar roaming around. And then again, Prabhupada sat down. He was chanting his japa, so intense. And then there was rickshaw stopping by. He was thinking, oh, this must be Tamal. He went out. No, it's somebody else. So till 1 o'clock midnight, he's still chanting. And then slowly there was one step, and then second step, third step, somebody stepping on the stairs, approaching his door. Tap, 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 tap. And that was Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Yeah. So he entered Prabhupada's room, and then Prabhupada was like, oh, finally he's here, So Tamal Krishna Maharaj didn't say anything other than he just handed the certificate, land certificate to Prabhupada, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada, the land is yours. And Prabhupada said nothing. And Prabhupada just sat down, leaned his back on the wall, and Prabhupada just waved on him. Means you go out and sleep. And then the next day, it was like Prabhupada, like, oh, I was in so much anxiety for 7 days. I was thinking that you are being robbed or something wrong went on like this. So even the spiritual master, if you carry out the order of spiritual master, you will always think about him and he will always think about you. So the same principle applied to Krishna. Another incident, yeah, it's pastime coming after one pastime. One time in one Pandal program, Srila Prabhupada was challenged publicly by one man, He asked, so Swamiji, you are preaching only here in India? Yeah, Prabhupada said, no, we are preaching all over the world. We went to US, Europe, England, and then this man said that, then if you are preaching all over the world, why don't you preach in Pakistan? And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, we will preach in Pakistan. And then he sent Brahmananda Prabhu and Gargamuni Prabhu, both of them. At that time, they're still very young sannyas. Both of them were sent to Pakistan. But then, at that time, there was a war. Yeah, there was a great war. But Brahmananda Prabhu and Gargamuni Prabhu, they split into different directions, different area of preaching. And Prabhupada was in anxiety. Prabhupada wrote a letter, there is a war there, better you come back. But there is no news. It's so difficult at the time. And then there was written in the headline of the newspaper that devotees found and handed to Prabhupada that 4 Hare Krishnas being killed in Pakistan during the war. Prabhupada was in anxiety because Prabhupada sent 4 people actually, 4 devotees exactly, to Brahmananda Prabhu and Gargamuni, and along with 1 assistants for each. Prabhupada was writing letters to Brahmananda and Gargamuni, but there's no reply. Yeah, there's no reply. And Prabhupada was in so much anxiety. And as soon as Brahmananda Prabhu got this letter, so he returned, somehow or other, he returned to India. He returned to Mumbai. Prabhupada at that time was in Mumbai. When Prabhupada saw them coming back, Prabhupada was crying like anything, hugged Brahmananda Prabhu, and slapped his back so hard, oh my son, bang, 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 like that. So that is the intense feeling of Guru. Yeah. So what about Krishna? Same feeling. Yeah. If we strive to execute the order of Krishna given here in the Bhagavad Gita, we think about Krishna, definitely Krishna will always think about us. Yeah. That's the idea. So, are you really convinced that if we think about Krishna, Krishna will also think about us? Yeah? Are you really convinced, or it's just a philosophy here that we are talking?
Yes, we are convinced.
Yes, all these life examples, from the devotees, not only from the Puranas and Bhagavatam, but real life examples is given. Yeah, so many incidents in our movement, in our day-to-day life. Krishna is reciprocating. That's for sure. Krishna is reciprocating. Yeah. So we should be convinced with this word. Yeah. Sulabha, easily obtained. Just think about Krishna. Yeah. Another famous sloka here. Okay. Mam upetya punar janma dukkhalayama saswatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gataha. After attaining the great souls who are yogis in devotion, never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Yeah, dukkhalayam, full of miseries, asaswatam, everything is temporary. Yeah, since this temporary material world is full of miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, naturally, he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, does not wish to return. The Mahatmas receive transcendental messages from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service and Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. That is the highest perfection of life. Yes. So first of all, Dukalayam Asaswatam. This material world is place of dukkha. So it's guaranteed. If you get some headache, that is already guaranteed here. Yes, because we chose to be here. So yes, we got it. Yeah, Dukalayam. But Asaswatam, everything is temporary. Your body, your wealth, your family, including your suffering, is also temporary. Yeah. Even the beggar, sometimes they feel happy. Yeah. Even the beggar, sometimes they feel happy. That's an indication that actually even suffering in our lives also temporary. Of course, in one certain point of time, everybody of us may experience, oh, why my life is so horrible, so miserable. Why? But it's temporary. One time I was asking one devotee here, very senior devotee, oh, Prabhu, my life is so horrible, so miserable. How long I have to suffer in this material world? And he said, only 1 second. Don't worry, it will be ended only 1 second. When Lord Vishnu breathe in, your suffering will be end. 1 second of Lord Vishnu is eternity for us. Yeah, but that's the principle. Dukalayam, yes, we are suffering, but asasvatam, temporary. Yeah, mamupetya punar janman dukalayam asasvatam. Napdavanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gadha. And those who are attaining the highest destination in spiritual world, they never return again. Many people asking me, like, what does it mean that we never return again? But we are originally coming from Krishna, right? That means all of us coming from the spiritual world. How can we fall down here? Yeah, don't ask me that question again. Yeah, just like a person, a criminal, yeah, is doing something wrong, doing some crime, and then he was caught by the police and put into the jail. And then after being rectified in the jail, he is being released. So he got the experience of being into the jail. Life is so tough in the jail, and he doesn't want to return to the jail. So that's the understanding here, that yes, now we are in the jail, but when we go back to the spiritual world, we never wish to return to this material world. But what Srila Prabhupada explained, pure devotee, yeah, he doesn't even want spiritual world. Yes, can you imagine? He doesn't want spiritual world. Salokya sarthi samipya sarupya ekatvam apyutam diyamanam na grihnanti vinamat sevanam jana. Salokya means to stay in the same planet with Krishna. He doesn't want even that kind of liberation. What he wants? Sevanam. Diyamanam na grihnati. Doesn't want liberation, but vinamat sevanam janaha. For a pure devotee, he wants only service. Yeah. So that is the attitude of a pure devotee. But why Srila Prabhupada keep encouraging us to go back home, back to Godhead? He wrote and published the magazine, yeah, Back to Godhead. Because we should go back to Godhead, right? Even in the spiritual world, we continue our devotional service to Krishna. Yes. And easier to practice devotional service in spiritual world rather than here. In the world full of complaint, yeah. Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punar janma na vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery where repeated births and deaths take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Yeah, Punarjanma Navidyate. Those who attain the highest material planets, the planets of demigods, are again subjected to repeated births and deaths. But if on Brahmaloka one does not cultivate Krishna consciousness, then he must return to earth. Those who progress in Krishna consciousness on the higher planets are gradually elevated to higher and higher planets, and at the time of universal devastation are transferred to enter spiritual kingdom. Yeah. So how many of you have heard or read about the life of Gopakumar from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita? How he's like going from one planet, higher planet, and then to higher planet, up to Brahmaloka, and then finally he went to Vaikuntha, and finally to Goloka Vrindavan. You have seen this picture of Krishna hugging one boy in Goloka Vrindavan. That is Gopakumar. Yeah. So the idea here that Srila Prabhupada explained is that one can cultivate spiritual life even in the higher planetary system. Yeah, like Jana Loka, Tapu Loka, and finally Satya Loka, Brahma's planet. Yeah. If one does not cultivate spiritual life or Krishna consciousness, even after attaining the Brahmaloka, then he has to return to earth again. But if he cultivates, then he can be promoted, and ultimately reaching Vaikuntha. There's one pastime, one story of a king. So being a king, right? Person can get whatever he wants. All types of sense enjoyment can get. So at the time of death, there is a description in Garuda Purana that if one performs so much sinful activities and very little pious activities, first he will be brought to heaven to finish that karma, and then he will they will bring him down to Narakaloka for punishment. And then from Narakaloka, he will take birth to earth. Yeah. So those who are performing a lot of pious activities and less sin, so first he will be brought to Naraka, being punished a little bit, and then he will go up to heaven to enjoy his piety, and then take birth from heaven. Yeah. So those who are born handsome, beautiful, rich, this is soul from heaven. Yeah, those who are born ugly, poor, miserable, they are from Naraka. Yeah. So by the way, there was a king. So he was like sense enjoyer up to the ultimate limit. Yeah. And then at the time of death, he was brought to heaven. Yeah. Just for a second, not for a second, let's say like for a few seconds. Yeah. To enjoy his piety there. And then he will be brought to hell for punishment. So he knew about this, because he has done very less pious activities. And then the demigod said that, okay, your time is almost finished now. Soon you will be brought to hell for punishment. Please tell us, what do you want to do now in heaven? And he said that, okay, at least once in my life, I want to see Lord Indra's garden, the Nandana garden. Yeah. And demigod said, okay, we'll bring you there. And then they brought him there to the garden of Lord Indra. And then he found beautiful Asoka flower. And then he thought that, wow, this flower is so beautiful. He was thinking like that. What will I do? Within 3 seconds, I will be brought to hell. So he was holding this flower. Okay, let me offer this flower to Krishna then. And then he threw this flower to the air and he chanted, Govindaya Namo Namaha. I offer my obeisances to Govinda. And then what happened? He didn't go down to hell. Instead, he was promoted to higher planetary system. He was wondering, wow, chanting this mantra brought me to higher planetary system. And then from that time, he was chanting Govindaya Namo Namaha, Govindaya Namo Namaha, Govindaya Namo Namaha. And finally, he found himself in Vaikuntha. So this is the proof that actually keep practicing, upgrading one's practice, in devotional service. Even when one is being promoted into heavenly planets, if one does not forget Krishna, because generally those who are in heavenly planet, they forget about Krishna because too many enjoyments. Therefore, Prabhupada explained, earth is actually the best place to cultivate sadhana. In heaven, too much enjoyment, one will forget about Krishna. In hell, too much suffering also, one will forget about Krishna. But here there is balance. Therefore, this is the best place to cultivate Krishna consciousness. Yeah, that's why Srila Prabhupada mentioned, even after attaining the Brahma Loka, if one does not cultivate Krishna consciousness, he will be brought back again down. But if he cultivates Krishna consciousness, then he will be elevated up to the spiritual world. So that's happened to this king. Yeah, he kept chanting Govindaya Namo Namaha and he went to Vaikuntha. Yes. Ananya Cheta Satatam. Satata means always, 24 hours, 100% without any deviation. This is Krishna consciousness. If anyone is engaged in such Krishna consciousness, 24 hours and 100%, then Yomam Smarati Nityasam. Always remembering, suppose if you are engaged in some work, naturally you will be thinking of that particular work. When you go to your office and work, oh, you have to think always of the office business. That is quite natural. Similarly, if you engage yourself in the business of Krishna consciousness, naturally you will be always thinking of Krishna. Therefore, it is said, Yomam Smarati Nityasaha. Always remembering me, Tashyaham Sulabha Partha. My dear Partha, Arjuna, for him I'm very cheap. Sulabha means very easily available. Okay. All right. Our time is up. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions or comment, you can ask on Tuesday evening. Yeah, we will continue this chapter. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki